Let me jump to this story from the Daily Mail. Quote, "It rips our wounds wide open. Family of Capitol cop Brian Sicknick, who died the day after January 6th, slammed Fox News and Tucker Carlson for using new footage to downplay riot and claim his death was not linked." In the video footage, I don't know if they have it in the article. Actually, it looks like they do. Let me, we'll mute this real quick and then we'll play it. You can see Officer Sicknick is walking around, seemingly uninjured, doing his job, telling people to move. He walks over and he grabs some sign of some sort and then puts it behind a statue. So he's going about his business. They initially claimed, the New York Times, that, what did they say? That he got killed when a fire extinguisher hit him in the head?
Hit him in the head.
That article is still up right now. In fact, let me see if I can find it. New York Times. I had the archive. There we go.
I saw it today.
Here it is. There it is. He dreamed of being a police officer, then was killed by a pro-Trump mob. Yo, this is definitively proven false. How is this article still up right now?
Because they're lying liars.
Look at this. They have an update. That's all they have. New information has emerged regarding the death of the Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick that questions the initial cause of his death provided by officials. So how about you take down your fake news?
Well, or leave it up, but make it very apparent that this is an old article that's been changed in the title. That update should be in the title.
Well, you guys are asking for way too much. That is unrealistic. That is never going to happen. It stopped happening 7 years ago.
This is like libelous, slander, felonious, like from back in the day.
But a mob can't sue you, right? They have defamed a pro-Trump mob as they've described it.
Right. They haven't identified anyone singularly.
They're like, we didn't burn anyone. We just fed the fire.
So that's for all you who are wondering how to defame people and get away with it. Apparently, just apply them to a group. So say like a group of Phil Labontes was seen punching a dog or something, and it's like, well, I didn't say he did it. I said a group of him was doing it.
Yep. Then my pronouns are they, apparently.
They. So I guess here's the thing, man. You're going to, no matter what happens, no matter what proof, it's as Yuri Bezmenov said. You can show the demoralized person proof and they won't accept it. Ian just mentioned, I think you were just mentioning, it's easier to fool the person. Or was
that was a Mark Twain quote. It's easier to fool someone than to convince them that they've been fooled.
The reason is fooling someone is a simple task of putting your trust in the wrong person. But telling someone they've been fooled is to insult their ego.
And it makes them recalibrate their entire worldview on the spot. It's a challenge.
Depending on how much they have to recalibrate their worldview. If someone has a deep conviction from when they were like a kid, ripping that out of them at 30 years old is going to be nigh impossible.
100%.
But if somebody like walks down the street and sees a dog do a backflip, and then you show them proof that it was actually an illusion by a magician with a mirror, they're more likely to be like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that.
And like if they've told 50 of their friends that a dog did a backflip, they're going to be they're going to be more resistant to realizing they're a liar.
It's not just a one-off anymore. You're right. It's probably more than 7 years ago. But this has been an ongoing campaign of disinformation by the mainstream media. I mean, go back. If you go Russiagate, Ukraine impeachment 1-2, Jan 6, the CCP balloon to bring it full speed, and then you talk Nord Stream 2. All of these people have been lied to and lying in the media consistently, even though they were proven wrong. COVID origins.
Yep.
I was the deputy director of national intelligence when we briefed Trump where the virus came from, and you know what he did the next day? Ban travel from China. We were all racist. 4 years later, hey, do you guys know where the COVID virus came from? The Wuhan lab. No S. But all those people were lied to by the New York Times for years and years and years, think it was somehow Trump engineered or related to his, ineptitude that we have COVID on planet Earth. And this is a carryover that they are able to just forget and say, okay, what's the next iteration of fake news we can come up with to just speed through what we were duped on?
So we have a couple different types of people in this scenario. People on the left who know it's all a lie, but are lying themselves because they feel they're on the right side of history or they don't want to fight or for whatever reason. And the people who genuinely are just not smart enough to ever see through this and they just keep going on and believing it.
Which do you think's bigger? Which, like,
the stupid
faction?
People.
Okay.
Ignorant people. I shouldn't be so cruel. I should say incapable of discerning.
Is it a lot? Is it like 60-40?
I don't know, man. There was, who's that comedian? Bill Burr, is that his?
Bill Burr, bald dude.
Yeah, he was on Rogan and he was like, "Look, Joe, I don't know. I just turn on the TV. They say put on a mask. I put a mask on. I just 2 weeks later take it off. I'll take it off." Like that's the kind of person that's voting Democrat. They say, "I don't know. I don't want to know. I'll turn the TV on and do whatever they tell me to do at the time." So It's maybe I should add a third person. The people, or that's probably the people who know they're being lied to, don't care. Just tell me what to say and I'll say it because I want to go eat, a pizza at the bar with my buddies or watch football or something.
I don't like. Not only you're right, but I feel like most people are so busy with like the real important things in their lives. We do it here. We talk about how families are important. We talk about how, go get away from the cities, go have chickens, all the stuff, meet real people and be active in the real world. One of the things that comes with that is the responsibilities. And that means that you don't have the time to sit there and be up to date on it. And it's a balance is I guess is what I'm saying.
Yes, but Joe Biden gets elected and you look at the charts and I understand we're in the know. The economic charts show that wages drop dramatically right after the time Biden starts signing these executive orders, and wages drop and inflation skyrockets. Okay. This means there should be a real world translation that we all know about that should be impacting regular people to realize things are bad. That is, under Donald Trump, or before the pandemic, the best numbers of our lives, record low unemployment, the economy was booming, it was tremendous, everybody agrees. Then Joe Biden gets elected and you can't get eggs. No eggs anywhere. Now, I don't expect the average person to be like, let me go on my phone and look up why there's no eggs. I expect them to go to the store and be like, yo, where are the eggs at? Something's wrong.
Or why do they cost so much when I can't?
Or why are they $6? Right. Like, what's going on?
Something's inflation war.
Something's crazy.
That's the lie.
But here's the issue. These people, do they not remember 2019? Do they not remember making tons of money and having cheap goods and going out and partying? Best numbers of our lives? They forgot it all.
It hasn't.
And now with everything being bad, you mentioned we're in the know. Well, certainly there should be economic dissent. There should be families being like, why is my rent so high? Why are my insurance rates going up?
It hasn't hit them yet though, because the inflation is still going up. Was it yesterday the Fed was talking about they're probably not gonna lower the interest rates the next time they get together, or they're probably going to raise them again because inflation's not going down as fast as they want. A lot of the reason why people aren't up in arms is because the squeeze hasn't hit enough people and it hasn't reached that critical mass. Not saying it's not coming. It's just that it hasn't really got to them yet. I really don't think that the average person has the real pinch where it's like, oh man, I really need to stop complaining about this and really get up and go do something, or else I'm not going to be able to feed myself or whatever. I don't think that critical mass is hit yet.
Yeah, that's the frog in the pot boiling scenario. And I have heard this false sense of security where they say it's Putin's war that's causing the inflation. So I think people think if we can just weather this inflation, once the war ends, it'll back
be
to
over.
Normal.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably still people that believe it's transitory. That's one of the things that the government had been telling the population for a year leading up to inflation getting really, really bad. Oh, it's transitory. Don't worry about it. It's only going to be short term. Every time that inflation was brought up for the past 2 years or past year or whatever, the administration has downplayed it and done its best to probably responsibly keep the population from freaking out. But at some point, they have to acknowledge, look, it's not going to be as easy as, it's not going to be a soft landing. We're going to probably go into a recession, probably a serious one. And until that happens, I don't think people are going to be like, oh, things actually are bad.
What do you think from a national security perspective about inflation? Does that concern you? Is it one of your big bells?
It is one of the non-sexy items from a national security perspective is inflation. If everything costs more, then the defense of this country costs more. But the problem that we have is we just print money to the defense industrial complex. And I'm not saying, as a former chief of staff at DOD who paved the way for one of those budgets and wrote a lot of those contracts and funded them, I call the 5 big CEOs of Boeing, Northrop Grumman, and all those major producers that we have, McDonnell Douglas. And I said, okay, look, a lot of the stuff you make, awesome, provides an invaluable asset to defend this country. And a ton of the stuff you make doesn't. I've literally seen you light billions of dollars on fire. So how do we strike that balance, right? And that's the problem when people don't know what inflation is, and then they just say, oh, it's $1 trillion. Who cares if it's 1.1 trillion? No one actually really cares. And the people that care the least are the defense industrial complex, because they take the check home no matter what, win or fail. And to me, that is something that whoever's in the next administration, if you don't agree to take on those monsters in the defense industrial complex, It doesn't matter what the inflation numbers are. We are going to print money into a never-ending cycle.
I also see inflation affecting domestic security in that you get roving bands of hungry dudes in masks that go into restaurants and kick tables over and grab stuff. Like, that's security. We need individual, like local security as well, which is a form of national security. The groundswell that concerns me.
Talking about, you saw the video that
another one today of like 14 dudes in masks just wrecking a place in New York and them not opening fire for some reason because it's New York City.
Well, I mean,
what is this? What is the story? Let me pull it up.
It was just a video that I saw, and obviously Ian saw it. There was just a bunch of dudes just ransacking this establishment. It looked like it was Asian owned. I don't know. I don't know any details. I only saw the video. I don't know who it was or whatever. I'm not pointing fingers or whatever. But
that's not it. But how do I search for it?
I don't know. I don't remember who it was that posted it. But it was another, essentially just another video of people just ransacking.
Andy No might have it.
Lawlessness.
I typed in mob to search mob.
Like a real life
Andy No popped up first.
A real life version of The Last of Us.
Maybe.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.